How many of you guys feel like you've been put in horrible situations by just trusting the wrong people? I was just being lied to, and I had a very, very tough year. It was not easy for me. Throughout all of the struggles and throughout all of the fighting and the pressure and the stress and the anxiety, guess what I did not do? I didn't fold. I didn't quit. I didn't give up. In fact, I persevered and I pushed. Despite all of those issues and those problems and those setbacks, I've also had amazing things that happen. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world is not yet a crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. I used to be homeless not too long ago. I used to live in my car, almost died multiple times just because I didn't have home, I didn't have shelter, right? My mom, she lived in another country. My father was in jail. So the person that raised me was my grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunt. And growing up, guys, I had to survive and learn pretty much to survive. I'm not sure if any of you guys know what it's like to be street aware or street smart or whatever the case is, but I had to learn to develop street smarts, street sense, street awareness. Not because, hey, I wanted to be this guy from the hood, but because my life depended on it. I've seen friends that I have that are probably still alive right now from my childhood. I can probably count them on probably less than 3 fingers. Of course, gun violence, a lot of other shit, police brutality. My life is not fucking perfect. My life is not easy. And a lot of you guys have also experienced a life that was not perfect or is not easy. All of us to have an equal consensus, like every one of us were dealt cards that were maybe not favorable. They were not the best cards. They were not the best situations or the best circumstances. I want us to all understand that. I've trusted somebody, I had nothing again, I had this belief that I was gonna make it big in the music industry, and I trusted the wrong people. In fact, I needed a computer, so I had a situation where this guy was just like, he showed me a bunch of money, and I was just like, cool, but you know, I need to work Uber so I can get my computer, so I can go back to making music. And he was like, dude, I got a bunch of computers in my house, come meet me and like, I'll give you a computer. Following the wrong people, I went to take that trip. I wasted a bunch of my time. There was no computers. I was just being lied to and just like swindled just because the guy needed a car. I ended up doing illegal things such as learning how to turn cocaine into crack and selling it to people. Like I did so many fucking weird, crazy shit. I got invited to, and that's one story that I've experienced of trusting the wrong people. I've had situations where I was invited to an abandoned house, and I went to the abandoned house just as, you know, because again, I didn't have a home at this time. I went to an abandoned house, and I pretty much literally an hour of me going into that abandoned house, police came and arrested every single person in that house. I was one of them. Like, how many of you guys, again, how many of you guys like feel or realize that you've been put in, like, and it may not even always be your fault. How many of you guys feel like you've been put in horrible situations by just trusting the wrong people? Literally, I learned this lesson again and again and again, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't trust people. I'm just sharing with you guys problems that we have in common. You guys and me, we're not that different. I feel like one of the big lessons that I have to learn to evolve is I need to be able to decipher who I should trust and who I cannot trust. This year, the same exact thing happened, right? I had people that, you know, I trusted, I invited into my own personal home. I've literally treated people like family, and then when they were ready, they stabbed me in the back, they slandered my name, they did a bunch of different things, which almost costed me my business. We did some research, apparently. And again, I want to thank every one of you guys that stuck with me. You guys are the MVPs. Because there's a lot of you guys that stood with me despite the other shit that happened. There was a time, so apparently we did some research and we found out that one of those people contacted Wells Fargo that then put us on a list called a match list this year. And because apparently I was on this match list, I couldn't take payments, I couldn't send payments, even if I wanted to. Because the same people that I've trusted in the past came back and try to hurt me or try to hurt my business. But I want you guys not looking at that. I want you guys looking at me today. If I did not mention that, does it look like I would be affected by that? Yes or no? And that's what every one of us needs to understand. Life happens. And sometimes the things that we go through may not always be great. Sometimes the things that we go through may not be fantastic and phenomenal all the time. And it may not just be, a mountainous climb. Sometimes we have to go into the valley. Sometimes it's going to get dark. Sometimes you are going to travel through those tunnels and you don't know whether you're going to make it out or not. Luckily, again, like I said, I had great people with me this year. And for those of you guys that know what I'm talking about, went through exactly what I'm explaining, I want to give you guys a round of applause because you guys are awesome. And I want to appreciate and thank each and every one of you guys for sticking with me. Because of this payment thing, we had to figure out, be creative on how we're going to get the business back on track. We're literally losing hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. We have, as a company, we have literally six-figure expenses every single month. So it's not easy, like, making things work when there's no income coming in. You're providing and you're supporting other people other than yourselves. How many of you guys feel like that sounds like a lot of stress? Wiggle your hands. This is pressure. This is scary. This is not easy. At this point, I don't know who to trust. Because everyone that I could see, I can trust them tomorrow. And then guess what? Tomorrow, because money is not coming in for them, they're turning their backs on me. We hired a lawyer / a private investigator. Costed us about $20,000 to $30,000. And they did some research, they did what they did, and they found out that we were fraudulently added to a blacklist because of this other thing. Again, like I said, the people, whoever, we were fraudulently added to a blacklist. When we got our lawyer to really quote laws, PayPal had to sit down and say, oh, we're sorry, we made an error, and then lifted the ban. And then I was able to start paying you guys again, paying out the affiliates again, right? I had a year that was not, I'm not complaining about it, but I had a very, very tough year. It was not easy for me. It was not an easy year, but again, looking from here, looking at me, how I normally am, would you imagine that? No, absolutely not. And despite any of those things, despite all of those issues and those problems and those setbacks, I've also had amazing things that happened. I was able to form amazing relationships and amazing friendships with literally, in my opinion, some of the best people in the entire world. I was able to have my first year being able to build 2 homes for a family, well, for one family, but building 2 homes, like a massive home for a family in need. I've never done that before. I've also never been able to there were so many things that I have never been able to do. I actually haven't been able to do. We've had successful events. We've had people create amazing milestones. We've helped people like Kayla, a mom, be able to quit her job and live off of affiliate marketing. I've had, in my opinion, I've had one of the most successful years that I've had. One of the most fulfilling years that I've had, despite all the problems that I've seen this year. We've had amazing events. How many of you guys came to this year's event? How many of you guys had an amazing breakthrough? Wiggle your hands. I mean, we just had an event, less than a week ago? Or about a week ago. And Heather already made her first sale. First 1K day from it. We'll give her a round of applause from that. So when I say I've had an amazing year, I feel like I've had an amazing year despite any of those problems, any of the setbacks. But I want you guys to take notice of this. When I was going through the problems, do you think it was going to be easier to just quit or keep fighting? I told you guys all the positives and I told you guys all the negatives. While I was going through the negatives, being targeted and attacked and being slandered and being literally beaten up, do you think it would have been easier for me to quit or keep fighting? It would have been easier to quit. I don't know when this cloud of bad luck is going to end. Right now, I'm here trusting people like Trang and Orit and Trey and Isla. I'm here trusting these people. I don't know when they're going to turn their back on me. I can have all of these negative thoughts. I can have all of these doubts and these anxieties. I can have all of these reasons. In fact, if you really had to think about it, I did have all of the reasons. I did have all the reasons. But I want you guys to think about this. Everything, all of the successes that I've acquired or accumulated came at the ending of this year. My beginning of the year was absolute. I can honestly say the month of February was one of the worst months that I've had in a long time. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. I fought tooth and nail for me to get back on track. So when I read this statement, to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. Do I, sitting down right now in my current position, am I looking at my past 6 months, past 12 months of this year, 2024, can I say that I deserve my success? Yes or no? It was fucking easy. It was no handouts. It was a struggle. It was a grind. It was pain. It was actual pain. There was sleepless nights. There was early mornings. I showed up when I was sick. You guys came to an event and I was sick throughout the entire event. Did I let that stop me? Did I sit down and say, oh, my stomach, or I have a pounding headache, I cannot show up? Oh, I don't have a voice, I can't do it right now. Did I do that? No. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. I believe that I deserve every fucking ounce of success that I've accumulated this year. Because I put into work. I showed up even when I didn't want to show up. I showed up even when it hurt. My question to you is, can you say the same thing? Can you say the same thing? The thing that you desire, the success that you said that you want, the success that you imagined or envisioned, can you say that you actually did everything that you could have to deserve that? Did you fight tooth and fucking nail to acquire it? Or did you create excuses? Excuses here, excuses there, excuses everywhere. For why? Whatever happened to you. I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I'm not even attempting or trying to be perfect. But I'm gonna work every fucking day. I'm going to work every day on improving just 1% more. 0.5% more. Even if it's 0.1% more, I'm willing to work for that. I'm willing to work for that. Do you believe that this year you got what you deserved?